the blowback from that decision was like, I was like, okay, I have to be here for myself.
How so? Like what in particular?
Almost everybody advised against it. Like literally almost everybody.
What's up, everybody? It's Giovonnie Samuels here, and we have an exciting episode for you on the Tokens podcast. Today, I have Gary L. Gray. You might remember him from Bring It On, All or Nothing with Me, or even Stevens, or even as young as The Cosby Show, as the little baby twin Nelson. He is here sharing his experience about being the token in a different way. And of course, with our 25 plus year friendship, this conversation went a little too long. So you can catch all of that extra content on our Patreon channel, and you can find that on thetokenspod.com. And to keep up with us all on our socials, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow at tokenspod.com. I can't wait for you guys to hear this, and so let's get started. So what makes our career, I think especially special, is we were, for lack of better terms, famous before social media.
Oh yeah.
And working as intently as we both have been, you can speak wholeheartedly what it's like before social media, the industry before social media, and the industry now.
Yeah, it's completely different. Not only approach, a lot of people always go with the fame aspect,
right?
Which to me is the end result, but even the approach is just so different. The thought process of, can I be an entertainer or an actor, is completely different,
right,
than it was before. I grew up watching people or watching things and saying, I want to do that. I want to do this. How do I get to do this? Even at a young age. And now, those mediums are so different. There isn't just a television or a movie theater, there's a phone, a laptop, a bus ad, at this point, it's everywhere, so just stardom in general, or what we consider a celebrity or a popular person, is just different. So that alone, if I had these resources, or if we had, think about it, if we had the ability to instantly be on set and say, look at what I'm doing, where I am, to keep that hype going. For the most part, I was 3.5 when I did Cosby Show. No 4-year-old is like, let me whip out my iPhone.
But kids today's now,
they do it today, right? So imagine if I was able to say, you know what, let me garner some interest right now, and let me just do a live day in the life on set, a Fresh Prince, Imagine that. I'm just walking around. Here's Will in his dressing room, and now it's like, seeing people being able to take advantage of that. I'm always so thankful, looking at how technology has afforded a lot of people who come behind us, the ability to really get themselves out there, where we didn't have, those kind of things. Right, yeah, you had to be.
Speaking of, you had to, well, not just that, you had to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
You had to sing, dance, act. It was an industry standard, or an unspoken requirement to be in this industry. Yeah. And that created so much discipline and people knowing what to do on set. It was because it was built into it.
Yeah, and that was that whole era where sitcoms were king, and you have a live audience out there, and you're rolling with that, and you have a comic who's bouncing things off of you down there, and they're bouncing things off to the audience, and that environment is very rare now, if at all. I think, what are there actual sitcoms that are out now? It's probably a handful, right?
Yeah, and then are they live?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Actual, real deal live sitcoms, because that's, to me, the definition of. I saw a tweet the other day. Sorry, this is off topic, but I saw a tweet the other day, and they were like, list your favorite 3 sitcoms. Mine are The Office, something, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. I was like, well, there's a couple of
those are
sitcoms.
They're right. That's not.
And I was like, this is probably why the Emmys thinks The Bear is a comedy. Maybe, that's probably why we're here. But, you know,
because it falls into the half an hour
yep, exactly.
category and not it actually being an hour-long show.
Exactly. And to me, you know, like I said, just trailing back to what we were talking about, it has just changed.
Yeah.
So much. And the biggest thing I was talking about with someone the other day is just the instantaneous, like I can get from point A of nobody knowing my name to if I strike the right iron.
It's go viral.
0 to 100. You know what I mean? And like we had to work. We were working every day. Like we couldn't do that. We were just slogging it out, you know. So that's the biggest thing for me. But, you know, like I said, I enjoy seeing everybody being able to take advantage of these things. Of course, if it's good, you know, there's some bad stuff obviously out there. But I love that the fact that Black actors and entertainers coming up can really get
their voice
you know
out
what I mean? Yeah, and able to create a voice for themselves. Not only just get it out there, but there is a form of individuality now with your profiles or whatever your social media is. So
that was not
and you can sell your merch on your profile now, and you know all of your brand can be there, right? So
that's
I can imagine.
wild.
Like what?
Okay, so take us through kind of your career because you were, in my opinion, the token baby.
That's right.
You was the token baby of the 90s, and then it just What? Go ahead, share the resume.
I mean, right. Oh man, so you know this. I was modeling first, so I was doing print work in Chicago, where I am from and grew up, and it was really just a lot of local stuff in Chicago. But then I started doing runway, and that was really the introduction.
Why are my friends models? Like, what is happening?
Well, you know.
You and Gus, y'all just
I just started
you
there.
just pretty babies.
I just Benjamin Button, though. I just, like, you know, people grow to be models. Oh, he grew into his eyes. Like, nah, I'm just kidding. Older and more washed. I was so cute as a baby. I was just like, geez, like, what happened? No. But yeah, when it comes down to that, I just started doing that, and it was just, like I said, it was just instant as far as doing runway to getting seen by producers. And I was in a fashion show in New York, and I believe it was Tommy Hilfiger. And one of the producers of the fashion show was a producer of The Cosby Show. And so they saw me and they were like, we want the twins to grow up, because at the time they were newborn. So they were like, we want the twins to grow up, and he's perfect, you know, we want him to come read. And my mom was like, no, he's you know, he's good. You know, she thought it was like a scam. She thought it was fake. So we flew back to Chicago and said no to the offer. And then I think like a week or so later, they did a conference call, and it was like 5 of the producers and Bill himself.
Like, no,
they were like, we're serious. Yeah. And so the rest of they say it's history. So I did Cosby Show out there in New York, and I was there for 2.5 years. And so obviously after that, my mom's like, well, like, you kind of started a career, so like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I told you, this is what I want to do, so let's keep it going. And we tried a little bit of time out here in LA. And I instantly was getting things like Fresh Prince, Living Single, Family Matters, and stuff like that.
Which goes viral every couple
of
years.
Yeah. Everybody's like, who's this kid that was on all these shows right there, like in the same year? And I was just like, it's me, I'm sorry. Right, it's me. And it's cool because it's like a cool little shared universe. I talked to somebody about it because since Phil Avery, the Fresh Prince dad, was on Family Matters that episode,
right?
And surprised Reginald, and so I'm always like, I was on both shows too. So I'm like,
so
it's like this weird like Inception, you know? Like I like to think of it like, you know, it's like a MCU. But
I'm the link.
It's the GCU. It's the Gary Cinematic.
This is my universe,
right? You know?
And then I crossed over.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, no. I love that sort of factoid about me, that I was on those very influential shows. Just at that time, before I was 7. I think I did the last one at 6.5. So all of them before I was 7. But yeah, so I just did that, and I was just guest starring in, you know, sitcom king. You know, it was just really back to back. And man, I think Even Stevens was, I want to say, like my first really, like, I felt, you know, sort of lead like role. Like,
yes,
yeah,
I made it.
Right. Yeah. You know, getting something where people are like, yo, like that's that kid, you know. So That was amazing shooting that out here. And man, from there, bring it on. Obviously, it's just a little project, right?
You might know us.
Right. I had like a weird. I don't want to call it weird, but I correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel especially us as entertainers in our community, we always have that period where we're like, what am I doing? Like the stuff that I'm getting is not what I want to be getting. And what is going on here? Do I really want to? Right. What do I want to do this?
What is this?
Yeah.
Who am I?
What is this here?
What time? Yes.
So I had that period, and I want to say around 17. Mm-hmm. And it was like right before Bring It On, really. And it was just like, I was just slogging, and I just hated getting the same role just back to back to back.
And that, even Stevens, you had just wrapped.
Yeah. Just done that. I had done that from 15 to about 16, 16 and a half. And yeah, so right after that, I was just like, and all the stuff that was coming, I was just like, and
is it because, okay, so what was that typecast, or what was that role?
Black friend, black nerd, black alt boy, because I always talk about this, that I was not the average black boy. I wasn't
clean cut.
Right. Yeah. I was sort of a completely different side. I didn't go out for a lot of the roles that my peers were going out for. I didn't even get asked for most of the auditions. And a lot of times I had to fight my way into that to prove like, no, I can be seen as this, yes. Right. I booked a couple of younger roles that were kind of in that vein, but as I got older and older, especially, growing into the teenage years, and then I was small, for my age too. So it was like, until I hit that point, where it was like, oh, he can kind of look like he's, of age a little bit. Here I am, I'm like, I'm 30, right? But no, I was like,
it just takes harder for us to age on TV.
Man, seriously.
I'm not 12, damn it.
I promise.
I'm an adult.
Seriously. I can buy a lotto ticket. But I just feel like, it just got to the point where I really just didn't enjoy auditioning anymore. I didn't enjoy attacking the roles that I was being offered, it got to the point where I told my mom, I was like, I want to look for things that are more independent and things like that, because the stuff that is coming across networks, I was like, I don't want to do,
right.
And that's how I got into doing Noah's Ark Jumping the Broom for Patrick Ian Polk. And so that came across, my agent's desk, and they were really against it. They were like, it's a LGBT project. And, this is like 15. My goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, you realize how old he is.
18 is like 19 years ago or something like that. So yeah, I did it right after Bring It On. And so it was, it was one of those things where I was like, I want to do it. I want to stretch myself, playing a young gay man and just really kind of doing something completely different from what I was used to, or right. what I was used to tackling. And one of the best decisions of my career, I think. I probably wouldn't still be acting, I think, if I didn't make that decision.
Wow.
But I feel like, yeah, once I did that, I was like, this is it. Okay, cool. I know that as long as I am working myself, then I'll be fine. As long as I can challenge myself, I can't leave it up to anybody else.
Right.
I got to challenge myself. So once I made that up in my mind, I was good. But yeah, since then, I have been so blessed to just be like, after that point, I was like, I'm only going to do things I want to do. That's it. I don't care. If I get an audition and I don't think it's good, then, I'm not going to
waste my time.
Why? And there have been plenty of auditions, offers sometimes even, and I'll just say, I'll look at the bio, or I'll look at the breakdown, and I'll go, not for me. So it takes time. It takes time to get there, and it really does kind of weigh on your conscience a little bit sometimes when you're thinking about what you might be passing up. But again, at the end of the day, my peace and integrity means way more to me. So
absolutely. Yeah. That has been the consistent thread. Mm-hmm. It's like, my integrity, how I live, being authentic to myself. Those have been like the primary things that everybody has said so far.
You have to. Being an entertainer in the business that's a minority, you have to have that in your mind, at all times, because if you don't, you lose it so easily. It's trying to be stripped away from you. Agency and individuality is usually not welcome, in a lot of these spaces. So you have to really kind of root yourself and be like, this is what I am.
So how did you navigate that, or when did you have the voice to start navigating that? Like even early on from your career.
You mean people actually listening?
Well,
you would say? Or
advocating
me
for
just
your
having, right.
Yeah, when did that start, or not even start, but just like having that moment of like, yo, I'm not doing this.
For everybody to get to the point where they have it always moving forward. Because I mean, there are things that I turned down as a child because my integrity wasn't there. I did turn down Menace to Society. I was supposed to be the young boy on the big wheel.
Tricycle.
But in the script, my mom didn't want me. She read the script and she said, I don't want him holding a gun at this young age.
Right.
And she wanted them to just kind of rewrite it. Maybe it's on the big wheel. Maybe it's, nearby, or it's implied. And they just wouldn't budge. So, just didn't do it. So things like that. It's like there were moments. But me, myself, choosing, I would say right after Noah's Ark. And I think it was the Blowback. Actually, no, I lie. It was choosing to do the second project with Patrick, Ian Polk, the director of Noah's Ark. I did a second project with him called Blackbird. And the blowback from that decision was like, I was like, okay, I have to be here for myself.
How so? Like what in particular?
Almost everybody advised against it. Like literally almost everybody. And I was like, for me, it was a little weird because here I am at this point now, I'm 22, I think. And for most of my career, I had been typecast. And so the whole big thing with a lot of people who advised against it, they were like, well, you're going to be pigeonholed into now doing only gay roles. And I was like, well, how is that when this is only my second? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But, it was just on their mind. This is all people are going to see, da-da-da.
But just one film ago, you only saw me as the nerdy black kid.
Exactly. Exactly. But that's okay. That's okay, because that is to me, and I'll speak very candidly.
Please do.
That is a controllable stereotype. That is a controllable, I have hands on how I can turn this out to the general audience. We understand how we can, make this read to everyone. That's why that stereotype is used and used and used. It's very safe. It's very understood,
Would you say that fits under the magical Negro trope?
Sure. Definitely. For me, it's what pleases us, and this is not even speaking on a general audience. They're thinking, what pleases this general audience, and unfortunately, those are the things that do it. Those are the things that grab people to get the butts and seats, to get them talking about it on social media. It might not even be that it's reviewed well or that it makes a lot of money. It doesn't matter anymore, right? Because the success spells in so many different avenues now, because of the resources we have and technology we have, that it doesn't matter if the film bombs. Okay, but guess what? It's being talked about. Wins a Razzie. Now it's viral. Now it has a second release. Oh, now all of a sudden we've got deleted scenes that come about, and now it's on Netflix. Now somebody else buys it, other streaming service. Now it's a completely different movie. Now it has a sequel. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like when you get to the point where you do a role that is not that, it's, oh, no, wait, what are you doing? Because we don't know how to keep this under wraps and controllable. And at the time, Patrick was doing a lot of things that were, very risky, not of the norm. And that was one of them, and I mean, even working with Monique, that was a whole thing, I remember. And so for that, it was that moment where I saw all of that and I was able to make the decision, getting all of that in saying, I can make my own, my own decision, my own way. And if I have to roll with this in a negative light, cool. But I'm gonna do it. Yeah, it's gonna be mine.
Your decision,
exactly.
Your authentic self,
Yep.
Your integrity, like all of that is like how you handle your career and have that longevity.
Yeah.
You know, you have to evolve, or else staying stagnant in the same role for 30 some odd years is deafening.
Man, and I feel for people who I think maybe feel like they have to do that in order. I only have 2 more times of this till I reach the thing that I want. You know, it's
not.
Boy, like I had to have a long talk with myself where I'm like, it's not even worth it. Why kill myself over stuff that I can't stand doing or I can't stand reading? You know, especially when I got into voiceover, that was a really big thing too. Because now I don't deal with the face stuff and being out in the it's just me. I get to just be free. I get to come in the booth in my pajamas. You know,
voiceover jobs are so beautiful, much fun,
so good. I'm telling you, I'm waiting on the big voiceover where I can just keep doing it till I go.
Okay, so let's move it back.
Yeah.
So you've done the safe token guy on camera, and then you move. Then you have this wonderful voiceover career, and then still end up being the same token, but on in an animated front,
right? So you know the crazy thing about animation, right? We have all these sort of discussions about who can do what, you know, and this person's not supposed to be able to voice this role, and this person this has to be authentic, and this and that. And when I got into it, it was the Wild Wild West almost, especially for me because I was always one of the youngest there, if not the youngest, and it was just wild to kind of really see the roles that I was getting because, you know, first role, so white skateboarder kid, you know, and in Rocket Power, and I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like I was having so much fun just diving into that. And at the time, I didn't even know that I had replaced someone. You know, I had replaced a young kid. I want to say his name is Michael something. I don't want to miss his name. Right.
Sorry to this man.
Right. I'm so sorry. But yeah, he the funny thing is he's an amazing actor. You know, he's done a lot of things as on camera and back in the day. And I was like, whoa, I never knew he was the first voice. And then to do the same thing for Fairly OddParents. You know, I come in and I'm replacing someone else. And it was so funny. I just had someone ask me this on Twitter the other day. They were like, did you get to work with Frankie, you know, on Fairly OddParents? I was like, when I came in, he had already, you know, sort of been out. Yeah. And so I told them, you know, no, my Chester is Jason Marsden, you know, and I love him. And so, yeah, see, being AJ and still being the token again. But the difference with that is because it's animation, it's just seen differently, right? Because there's something especially about the content of the show, even Fairly, you know, godparents, fairy godparents. We, you know, have wishes and all these amazing things that
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So you have this Black kid who has both parents, very wealthy, a genius. It's already against some stereotypes, you know, and just shout out to Butch for doing that because he didn't have to, you know. So I loved doing that because it was, something that was somewhat familiar and somewhat, you know, obviously treaded territory already, but it was still something that I felt like was necessary and needed to be something fresh where people could say, oh, wow, like that kid, like he's a little bit different from all the Black kids that are animated. You know, because that was a thing. It was like, if there was an animated Black kid, he was like bad. He had like golds and like, you know, he, you know, like, you know, sold drugs and stuff. So
not the drugs.
Right.
Not the drugs.
You know. But that's, you know, that was the cool thing about AJ is that he did have that sort of air about him where it was like, he's a hero kid, you know, in his own right. He can lead a show. He's somebody that could be Timmy in a whole nother universe. You know, and
hint, hint, wink, wink.
Right, you know, and you know what's wild about that is someone had posted who should have their own spinoff show, and someone had posted AJ, and so I retweeted it, and I was just like, you know, doing my whole thing, and people, when I tell you that tweet blew up, and it was so many people saying we would watch this, and I think I want to say Nickelodeon like retweeted it, but like, nothing, it's like, and to me, I'm like, I'm looking at, so if we're looking at social media for everything, why not for that stuff?
Yeah.
You clearly see this is what
this
people
is
are.
a wanted.
Yeah,
this is
and this is not, and I understand, one viral moment doesn't spell doing
numbers,
a show, sure.
Right.
But if you understand how that could trace back to just simply just thinking about the idea, just exploring it, but we'll see what happens,
Okay.
But that's, that's the kind of thing that I dealt with early in animation. But luckily I was in it long enough to really do a lot of different things. I ended up doing video games like Fallout 4 and stuff like that. So it's been really cool to kind of really be able to just dive into a character that doesn't have any kind of physical attribute that I have to worry about or, things of that nature. So yeah, it's been cool.
Well, that's good. Okay, so how, with representation being as massive as it is, especially for us, because a lot of times they didn't have anything else but us, how did you handle that responsibility? On one side, like you were saying with your character, this was a good, positive reflection of us as a community. And then, hey, y'all doing too much. Like, how did you handle that?
Yeah.
Responsibility.
I always felt weird about it, for one, because again, I wasn't the average Black boy. I wasn't getting, to me, the roles where people should really be using their voice or really should be heard, not using their voice, because that makes it negative towards them, and I'm not. It's more so the people that hear them. Like, those to me are the people that we need to be listening to. The people who are doing the bit roles where it's like, these are just cookie cutter stereotypes. I didn't have, to me, the voice or the ability, the roles to really speak for, to me, the community.
Right.
I was getting choice roles. I was getting things, even though they were still stereotypes in their own right. I feel that there's a lot of people who I would rather see have that conversation. But I think personally, the way that I handled it was just being thankful for like everything that I got and saying, look, I know that I am not, I am probably not the best choice, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to work the hardest I can to make sure that I do whatever I can to make this role relatable and to make it seen. That's that. Like, just do my job, and really that's what I've done my whole career. Put my head down, do my job, and try to attack the character as best as I can.
That's how you stay youthful.
That's right. Mind my business, drink my water.
There it is.
I clock in. Look, a lot of people, and especially, I've seen it lately, especially. And I thought that it would kind of die down the older that I got being on sets. But man, people that are kind of sort of in our age range and older on set, I mean, the stuff that's going on
What you mean?
Just as far as like making it be about being on set. It's no longer about completing the work of the art of the content that we're doing. It's like how much can we work being on set? Being on set is the goal rather than actually what we do
right
on set,
like
and so
it's very narcissistic, and that plays back to what I was saying before about us actors that came here before social media to now. Because
when you would think about the way that we are, like you said, we were one of the only, now I think the selection is much wider, much wider. But back in the day, like you said, you saw two guys at a time, right? Two girls at a time.
Two girls at a time.
Then they just got swapped out, know? And so I feel like, I don't know, now it's hard to say. I'm trying to really visualize what I'm trying to say, but it's just like, man, this, like you said, the social media, like the stuff that I could be doing. No, go ahead. I wanted you to complete your thought, but just go ahead. Go ahead, because I'll go on this all day. But no, the professionalism, like, of being, on set and just clocking in and just doing your job. So you spoke to longevity, where to me, that's how I feel like I stay on set. I have my voice for me, my individuality, but to me, it's make everybody else's job on set easy. Make everybody's job on set easy, because then I will have a good time. That's how I look at it. If I'm sitting here and I'm negative about this and I'm worried about this, or I say like, I think this should be rewritten and now I got beef with the writer and the producers. And once I'm doing that, then I'm not having an enjoyable experience.
No, because you're going about it in a very narcissistic way and not about the art. The rule has always stayed. It's about the work.
Right.
Fame is just a byproduct. And once you... social media makes it about the fame and then the work.
Keeping up the fame, even. Keeping up, like if you're not posting, you're not there.
So we've talked about your voiceover. You talk about having somewhat of a break, and that switches you over to Noah's Ark and Jumping the Broom and Blackbird.
Yes.
What do you do after that?
A lot of reflecting. After Blackbird, it was really kind of that time where people were like, okay, he did a second.
Yeah, because folks was hit me up like, your boy is gay.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like,
instantly, it was like,
no, he's an actor.
Gay. He's clearly gay. So, Blackbird also caused a change of directions when it came down to my agent. Left my agent over it. And, so there was really a time, was like, the direction that I'm going, I gotta buckle down and I gotta make sure that this is what I want to do, because it was really sort of do or die time. Yeah. And I just really self-reflected. I started writing a lot, and I had always dabbled in screenwriting and stuff like that. But that was the time where I really picked up, and I was just like, if I'm not really getting enough out of letting the auditions come to me, then I have to get it out somehow and create and. Yeah.
Do you feel like and I think I've asked this question before to somebody else, do you feel like you've had to create your own because there was nothing out there for you, especially being typecast as a token?
Yeah, and the thing is there is stuff out there, but it's not what I want. It's not what we want most of the time, so,
true.
The auditions are there. They're going to have Black people and, minorities in roles. Sure, of course. They have to, but I just wasn't seeing what I wanted to do. I wasn't seeing what I wanted my friends to be doing. Wasn't seeing what the people who were deciding to take the steps behind the scenes. I wasn't seeing stuff that I would say, cool, yeah, I want you working on that set. So I said, I have to create it. I have to create the environment that all of my friends, me, my family would want to be in and would want to work in and want to reap all the benefits from, And so that was it. It was really just getting down and saying, how can I be creative on that front? What things can I use from my experience of being an actor, being on set, watching, observing? What can I do to move that process along for me and others? And once I started writing, that was like, seriously, that was it. Because I had, like I said, been writing. But once I sat down, I was like, I'm gonna complete like something.
Act one to the final scene.
I did that, and that was it. I completed the first feature script that I did, and that was just a collection of stuff. It's a little party film that I still got waiting on. But and then it just snowballs. Because then you go, wow, what are the possibilities? And you really realize like these stories can be told. Mm-hmm. It's very possible. Yeah. It's so easy. And I think once you get the completed form, the first time you do that, it becomes addictive. So for me, it was, what projects do I have the ability to create or to think about creating or to pull resources to create that people will want to come to work, will want to enjoy, say, oh my God, I can't wait. When I see interviews with people who do Marvel flicks, the one thing that is constant with all of them, when they do interviews, they go, my kids love me now. Every single one. They go, my kids love me now because I got to play this superhero who I had no idea who it was, but now they love me. Seriously. And it's like they take that for granted so much because we don't get that. When, how often do I see a minority get to come home and say, my child looked at me and said, you're the greatest person alive because you booked this role? I can count on one hand. And I'm like, I want that, so.
I just want to kick somebody in the chest. Like, let me,
I want to be. in space.
Yeah.
You know,
I
shooting
want to
lasers.
do that. I want to do that so
It's cool.
bad. I'm only 5'1",
it's
but
coming.
you know,
It's coming because like you know, me being a hermit and me being, you know, creating all this time, I wasn't just sitting on my hands, you know. So I got stuff. But for me as a creator, especially with stuff like that I'm really passionate about, genres that I'm passionate about with sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that, putting us in those spaces is so important to me that I've just been spending so much time just perfecting everything and really trying to make sure that everything that I have is something that people are going to want to see and want to buy and say, I want to be a part of that. So it's coming, but I'm really a stickler. So,
all right.
you know, we're getting close though. We're getting close.
I will say with us kind of being the last generation of actors that's seen before and after social media. I know I keep harping about this, but even with us Black actors before and after, the positive of it is we're now getting our flowers.
Yeah.
Have you had some of those moments where fans were like, yo, I saw myself in you?
Oh yeah.
Speak on that.
That's I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't get that. Because like I said, after Noah's Ark, I got so much, a flood. And that's why, to me, you know, as far as the LGBT community, it's one of those things that like, when you really feel a group or a community rally behind you, and rally because they resonate so deeply with the role. And it was at a time where like I said, I was really unsure about continuing and what I wanted to do. So having that, and I mean, message upon message to be like, you know, I've had times where people shared that they wouldn't be here, you know, had they not seen the role at a specific time and said, listen, if this, seriously.
I got chills from
and I save every message. I screenshot it. I save them. Most of the time I ask permission to post, because to me, posting that and being vulnerable and letting people know, like, this is why I do it. This is welcome.
Yeah.
You're not weird if you tell me this. You're not gonna cause me to be like, oh gosh, you know, or block you or anything like that. You know, obviously, if it's respectful, it's absolutely loved, and I can't think of anything else that would keep me going other than that. To be honest, 'cause it's not the content, it's not you know,
it's just purely about.
It's purely when I get those reactions, and I get an audition where I'm like, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to go. You know, we get, especially in between. You know, for every lead role, there's a
couple of years.
Not even years, but there's also a couple of, for every lead role audition, there's a few missed commercials that we booked and didn't pan out, or you got availed on, it didn't pan out. Then there's the guest star roles that were like, I got 2 lines, and I said, you know, for all of those betweens, you're slogging. It's a struggle sometimes, you know, and so to get that, it's like, that is what keeps me going, because otherwise, you know, the money and all that kind of thing. It's like, you know.
Do you get residuals for? I'm sorry, I just had to throw that.
No. Go ahead. It was just the way you asked it.
Do you get residuals for all the kid shows and stuff that you've done?
Oh yeah, you know, I get pretty decent residuals. You know,
and that's probably on the animation side.
Yes.
Because it's not on camera.
No, on camera is terrible. On camera is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
So get into the commercials. Get into the cartoon.
Commercials and animation definitely have fed me. You know, kept food on the table legitimately.
Younger
was commercial heaven. But Pepsi was my biggest one, probably. The Pepsi commercial.
With who?
Beyoncé. I was 16, and It was a few years before Bring It On, obviously. And man, went into audition for that. I didn't know what to expect. And this was like, I was 16, so it was really kind of that weird times after, Eva Stevens, like we had talked about. And I was just kind of like, and it was really one of those commercials that I felt was like really goofy. Like I felt like I was gonna be goofy. And I was just like, But going into the audition, I had a lot of fun. And I guess it showed because I booked it. But yeah, that shoot was long. It was very long. It was a 21-hour shoot. Yeah. And it was not Beyonce's fault, much to a lot of people's dismay, I'm sure. Because they want me to be like, it's Beyonce, she was late. She was not. No, she was very much on time, very professional. She was waiting on set just like me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great shoot. It was something that I learned a lot, just about the process and working with a big sort of outward celebrity where it wasn't like someone who is in acting, but someone who is doing something else. Because I had done a commercial at that point with Michael Jordan, but it was also one of those kind of moments where it was quick, in and out. It was like, almost like we did it guerrilla style, like almost like in between, because like athletes, their schedules are so different, right? Dumb tight. So like he was like in between a practice session and something else, in a race car driving session or something, So I was like, okay, cool, let's go play basketball with Michael Jordan real quick. And it was my birthday, so I didn't care. I was like, where am I going? What?
That's a great
I'm not
birthday
even working,
gift.
right? What? Come on now. So, with the Pepsi commercial, I was kind of like in that same mode, but I got to spend way longer. So it was just really cool. She was a sweetheart. And yeah, filming that was it was awesome because I was definitely starstruck. I really liked Beyonce at that time. So I was like, Beyonce.
Beyonce?
Right. Beyonce. And then like, she looks like, there's a couple people in my life where I feel like look like so good, they look fake. And it's like, no, for real. Like when you okay, imagine like now we can say this, but back then there was no such thing. But I definitely back then would have been like, she's AI. I'm like, she's an AI person stepping on set as holograph. Cause in my head, I was like, people don't look this put together. Like this is crazy. Time? I'm telling you, she walked on set and I was just like, it's like a glow. It's really like a glow.
So she got the French glow?
She got the glow. She got the glow. It's like Hercules. Remember when he, at the end, when he was like, he's ready for Mount Olympus. Animated Hercules.
Yes. I will find my way.
Exactly.
I can go the distance. That's another good one, too.
Hercules. Right. But yeah, no, it was amazing. I wish, I saw the other day someone said that she should bring her old Pepsi commercials back. And I'm here to say, I am free Beyonce for this reunion when it comes down to bringing, do the Gladiator one with Pink and Britney too. Mm-hmm. We can all just come to, somebody said they had the story. They was like, you can drive by the gas station to go fill up and Britney in the car. And, I was like, I like that idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
Whoever posts that on Twitter, make sure you tag Beyonce and, keep tagging me in it too, because I want to do it. Let's do it.
Now, I don't know. Did you do anything Nickelodeon?
Yes. I mean, animated, yeah.
But it still counts.
Yes.
So we are the few that have done both.
Mm-hmm. Talking about Nick and Disney.
I think there's like a small handful of us at that time that was bouncing back and forth. Mm-hmm. That's like a cool little secret club. Yeah. I gotta find out how many of us are there.
I did.
Because it was very
Disney
much.
And Cartoon Network.
Oh, so you're the trifecta.
I did the tried it.
Because there wasn't. It was very much you were either Disney or Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Even as the actors.
Yeah.
Like it was very much.
Right. You
chose your side.
You chose those sides. I chose all three. I was like Dave Chappelle, where he was like, whoever wants me to do it, I'll do it for free, chicken.
Cut the check.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gary, for coming. I really appreciate your insight and everything on just being a token in this industry.
Thank you for having this is important. You are having important conversations. the B-side, if you will, is not talked about, you know, and it's not celebrated. And I feel like when we do this ourselves, we give the opportunity for everyone to see how much we can be celebrating. Like you said, giving our flowers and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It feels great to have platforms like this to come to and say, cool, like I can, and not only that, but I can speak with my people about it. Like I
told you I called my friends.
Right, you know what I mean? Like that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that you guys have to be celebrated for having this platform. It's great.
How can people get in contact with you? What you doing?
Well, I am always on Twitter arguing with somebody. So you can hit me at Gary L. Gray. Make sure the Gray is with an AY, not an EY. So that's GARYLGRAY. That's Twitter. That's Instagram. You can always hit me there. I am painting. I find lots of solace in painting, and I just like my peaceful thing that I like to do. So if you can catch a painting, you know, hit me, DM me for that. I don't have an official website because it's my hobby, and I kind of like being exclusive and down low with it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Also, I might start leaving them places, just like treasure hunting them, you know?
Okay.
Just, you know, just go pick it up and just say you have a GLG original, and you'll be able to say that, possibly. We'll see. And thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'll come back. I'll do it for free.
Yay! Bring a friend.
Right.
Yeah, bring somebody else who you think would work in this space.
Well, it's been a lot of tokens. So
yeah. So Hollywood is small.
Mm-hmm.
Black Hollywood is smaller.
Yeah.
Young Black Hollywood
even
smaller. Right. So we all saw each other and knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the cool thing is that now coming back after all these years and talking about it, talking about our experiences, is great. It's going to be healing a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. This is my brother.
Putting on a token.